All right, here we go. Brand new Flyers Daily for the 22nd of May, 2024. Flyers Daily, as always, presented by Ticketmaster. Make more memories live. Our Flyers Exit Day interview series continues in this episode with one of the players and one of the subjects that I like talking about quite a bit. And you'll be shocked to know it's not a goaltender. Actually, our guest in this episode is the Flyers MVP of the last two seasons, and that would be Travis Konecny. Another really good year for the Flyers, and you get to hear that conversation coming up in just a little bit. And I think before we even get to that, let me just mention a couple of things in regards to Travis Konecny. He's now completed his 8th year in the NHL. That is unbelievable to me. Like, where did that go? He made his NHL debut back in the 16-17 season, never played in the AHL. Jumped right into the NHL after playing in Major Junior Hockey. Comes in as a 19-year-old in 70 games. He had 11 goals, 17 assists, 28 points in his rookie year in the NHL. He had 3 power play goals that year. Played just over 14 minutes of ice time. That was back in 16-17. Followed that up with a 47-point season in 81 games. Then the next year, the 18-19 season, how about 24 goals again? Second year in a row with 24 goals, this time in 82 games, 49 points. And then in 1920, his first All-Star game appearance, he also had 24 goals, but he did it in 66 games that year. It was like, I think, a 30.3 per 82 pace, something like that. So he was on his way. He had 61 points in those 66 games. The pandemic hits. TK does not have a good postseason in the bubble. Was really snake bitten. I remember a block shot, I think it was in the Islander series, where he literally hit it off the heel of the blade of the Islander defender and just could not buy a goal. In the 16 games that technically the Flyers played in the playoffs in the bubble, he had no goals and 7 assists for that playoff run in the 16 games. But he was a player, 3 straight 24-goal seasons. And it looked like the pandemic derailed him a bit. Came back with the shortened season, the 56-game season, played in 50 of those games, had 11 goals, 23 assists for 34 points. And then the 79 games in the 21-22 season, 16 goals, 36 assists in those 79 games, 52 points. And you're kind of going, okay, well, where is Konecny right now? Where is he as a player? That's his 24-year-old year. Then he follows that up 60 games in 22-23. Had a couple of really bizarre injuries. Not this past season, the one prior. But he scored 31 goals, 30 assists, 61 points, more than a point per game player, and played over 20 minutes of ice time. And that was the first time we got to look at TK on the PK. 3 shorthanded goals that year. He had 5 power play goals, 5 game-winning goals. Really an important player for this Flyers team that didn't have a lot of high-end talent and guys that could generate offense on their own, especially that year, the 22-23 season. Then we head into the 23-24. He plays 76 games. He sets a new career high with 33 goals, 35 assists, 68 points. Not a point-per-game player, but a career high in points at 68 in those 76 games, and played just under 20 minutes a night at 1950. Led the NHL with 6 shorthanded goals, had 4 power play goals. If they get the power play going, a player like Konecny, who scored 33 in 76 games this past year, could be knocking on the door of somewhere around that 38 to 40 range of goals. So Konechny's been a player the last 2 years, the most consistent player for the Flyers, the most dangerous player. We've watched him come from a kind of a very emotional, immature player into a mature leader. He wears a letter on this team now as well. His contract is coming to an end after this season. It's the last of a 6-year deal that paid him $33 million, a $5.5 million AAV. He can get a new contract as early as July 1st when the new year comes into play. He'll talk about that in this conversation as well. But without further ado, let's get to our Flyers Exit Day interview with the MVP. Quite simply, he's been that the past 2 years for the Flyers. Here's my conversation with Flyers forward Travis Konecny. It is Flyers Exit Day on Flyers Daily, and we're sitting with the Bobby Clark Award winner, Travis Konecny. How you doing? How you processing the end of the season? Because it just kind of ends, and it's like, oh my God, it's over.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, in the years past, last few, I mean, we were kind of out of it. So you kind of knew when that last game was coming, and yesterday just didn't feel that way. It didn't feel like the last game. It felt like there was more there for us, and we weren't ready to be done. But it was good games for us to play in, and good things for us to learn from.
You can kind of ease your way towards the end of the season when you're playing out the string. When it comes down to game 82 and all the circumstance that night, does it not even hit you right away? Because, you guys as pro athletes are used to the rigidity of the schedule, practice, morning skate, game, travel, all of that.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden you have all this free time in front of you. And while it's nice to have free time, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, like I said, in years past when you kind of, you're aware, maybe, 15 games left or 10 games, you kind of know where you're at. You maybe can start packing some stuff up or get whatever ready you need to get ready to go home. And like I said, this year just didn't feel that way. Like I'm pretty sure every guy on the team, wasn't preparing at all to go home. It was just we were ready to keep moving forward. So yeah, definitely weird waking up today with nothing to do.
Yeah, you didn't want to be presumptuous and start packing crap up.
No, you just keep believing.
That's bad juju right there to do that. How you feel physically? I know you dealt with the injury, but how you feeling here as it wraps up?
I feel good.
How long will you take off?
That's a good one.
Because you're 8 years in now. You've learned, okay.
I take a little bit more than probably some guys.
Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, some guys maybe would do like a week or two. I mean, I'll still do stuff, but whether it's rollerblading with my kid, I have two, but my oldest likes doing that. But maybe my dog go for a run or something. But I'd take 3 weeks maybe, just completely
to chill,
shut down. Yeah, enjoy some time.
Yeah. Can you or can your kid or the dog kind of wear you down a little bit when you get back at it?
Oh yeah,
endless energy.
Oh man, yeah. my oldest son, he's right now just in the thick of just never sit down.
Yeah.
Never.
Just absolutely buzzing nonstop, right?
Daddy, mommy, look, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You know?
The funny thing is Torts has brought up this year that you're one of the players that can extend shifts and play tired.
Oh yeah.
I think your boy may have the same trait.
Well, he might, and he's got it more than me because he's got me tuckered out. So.
You look at let's just talk about the individual thing. I know you traded all to be playing in the playoffs, but yet another really good year from a statistical standpoint. You lead the team in points. You're 8 years into your career now. What do you want to work on? What do you want to add to the game at this point?
I still think there's a little bit of consistency there that I could work at. I know it's definitely improved, but being a difference maker, every single night is something that I, want to work towards. And
DK, you had a 62-game stretch where you didn't go back-to-back games without a point.
Yeah, no,
that's pretty consistent.
Yeah, it is. I feel like I guess there's some stuff in there where maybe points were almost lucky points or just
not generated.
Random. Yeah, just a random secondary. I just would like to be a little bit more consistent in generating chances, and I think my defensive part of the game can always use work and contributing on that side of things. And then I'd say the power play. I think that's just one thing that all of us can go home and study and try to continue to get better. Watch all the best power plays. Watch the playoffs and how the guys are doing it, and you just keep learning.
You lead the league in shorthanded goals. You didn't even play PK 2 years ago. Now all of a sudden you're leading in the league in shorthanded. It's been another area where you can contribute to team success, and it's a rewarding area because I think it gives the bench a lot of juice.
Yeah. No, I really enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. You surprised by that?
No, I've always wanted to play on it. I was just nervous about giving up a goal and through the learning process because it's you can't learn unless you're in games. That's the only way you're gonna.
And you're in an unforgiving league.
Yeah, so at the start I was nervous to get into it, but I think the way that Shazi and Lottie and some of the people that got me into it, and then the players I played with, really helped me along the way. And Lottie and I just found that chemistry of just go out there, have fun, play hard, pressure, and it's the one thing that, and unless you're the top of the line power play guy, you can beat pressure. But a lot of power plays, you don't like pressure. You want space. You want time to make a play.
Don't choke me out.
Exactly. So that's how we kind of approach it.
And then you guys just being on the same page in tandem.
Yeah, reading off each other, exactly. Yeah.
A lot of family time this summer. You look at this 8 years in the league. New contract could be due this summer as well. That's something you want to get done. You don't want to go into the final year to kind of separate that business out. Or you just say, let's see how that plays out.
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, just see how it plays out. Obviously, I love Philly, and I'd love to be a Flyer. So, I was worried so much about the playoffs that wasn't in my mind. And, moving forward now, we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, so. It's not something you carry in your frontal lobe. And any boxes you want to check? Any things you want to get off your bucket list this summer that you haven't done? You and the kids, or
I mean, kids are all a year older, so there's definitely some things like sports,
new experiences.
Like I think my oldest, I'm gonna try a little bit of golf. He loves it at home. So
really,
yeah, like take him to the driving range, things like that, and
not putt, like real.
No, yeah, he loves ripping the driver already. He just wants to hammer it. So maybe a little bit of that.
He's not pulling iron out of the bag at all, is he?
No, he wants the big stick. So yeah, that's all the fun stuff, and just maybe some downtime too, away from the kids. Me and the wife can get away maybe.
Yep. Well, TK, great season. Enjoy the off season. I know this stokes your hunger for more next year as well.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for everything you did this year, and we'll talk next year, man. Enjoy the summer with the family.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Cheers.
All right, there he is, Travis Konecny, joining us on Flyers Exit Day. A couple of things that really popped out to me with what he talked about was, kind of what he wanted to work on this summer. The first thing he mentioned, he wanted to be more consistent, and he was a guy that was really consistent for about 90% of the year. Didn't go many back-to-back games without ending up on the score sheet. He mentioned I had some secondary assists in there. Sometimes you luck into points. He was pretty darn consistent. He's been pretty darn consistent the last 2 years, but he wants to take that to another level. You're seeing a player in his prime right now. The D-side improvement he talked about as well. He's never going to be a stalwart defensively. He's got to incur risk in his game offensively. Shade some defensive responsibilities to create offensively. That's always going to be the case. He talks about the improvement on the power play and how watching the good power plays around the league and learning from them, that'll be a big thing that he goes into the offseason. And the thing that he brought up about penalty killing, because he had never done it, but he said he always kind of wanted to do it, but was, it's something that you can only learn by doing it in the NHL, and it can be pretty scarring if you mess up because it ends up in the back of your net. But he mentioned how a penalty kill that is all over you really affects a power play. He said a power play wants time and space. So you take that and you apply that to your power play. Now, how does a power play get themselves time and space? Isn't that dictated by the team defending, by how they attack and how aggressive they are? Well, yes, but there's also a way for a power play to create time and space, and that is by movement of both the puck and the players. I always talk about the Flyers' power play the past couple of years has been too static. Still targets, not moving the puck enough, not creating enough decisions for the penalty kill. It makes it easier. You're playing into their hands as much as 5 players against 4 can play into their hands. And then obviously, one of the big talking points with Konecny is, he said it. He wants to be a Flyer. He will be due a new contract after next year. We'll see if they get that contract done this year. But what does that contract look like? What does the first number of that contract look like? Is it an 8? Is it a 9? And you're talking about a player that's got basically over the past 2 seasons, just about a point per game player in the NHL as a focal point of the opposition to limit the amount of damage they can do. So what does that number begin with? And for Konecny, who he just turned this past March, on March 11th, he just turned 26 years of age. He is smack in the prime of his career. So an 8-year contract would essentially take him from 26 to 34. How is he going to age in the NHL is part of that equation as well. And, a little while back I had brought up, somebody had mentioned to me on social media, they responded to a tweet from Kevin Kurz, who covers the Flyers for The Athletic, and Kevin Kurz had mentioned something in this about keeping Konecny, and, some players are good into their 30s, And Kevin had said, pretty sure I watched a 35-year-old Brad Marchand dominate last night. This was back on April 25th. And a guy responded to him, MSDR, and said, do you genuinely believe that TK is on the same level as Marchand? And look, right now, he is not. I think Brad Marchand's going to the Hall of Fame. I know a lot of people hate him, but here are the numbers. Because at that point, at the age that TK is now, 26, at 27, Marchand had shown no signs of being the Marchand you see now. Can TK do that? I don't know. I didn't expect to see it from Marchand. In Marchand's years, from his age 21 to age 27, the first 454 games of his career, he had a total of 279 points. It's an average of 50.39 points per 82 games played. That's the first 454 games of his career. TK, in that same time frame, same age frame, played 494 games, so he played 40 more games. He had more points, almost 100, 372 points, and he has averaged 61.74 points per 82 games played. Again, Marchand, 50.39 to this point in Konecny's career, and Konecny, 61.74. So the people that say, well, you don't extend him because he'll be out of his prime when the team's ready to compete. Well, that would have to be 6 years from now. And if the Flyers aren't competing in 6 years, I'm going to be pissed. You're going to be pissed. Everybody's going to be angry. And it doesn't matter. But that's the fact of the matter, is you have a player in his prime. If you trade Travis Konecny, first of all, I don't think you get in return what you think. You're trading a player that is going to be due a raise and a new contract. He has 1 year left. So if a team takes him on with an extension, he's getting paid. And you're probably looking at in that $9 million range. If a team trades him with the 1 year left, first of all, you're not going to get as much in return because he's only got a year left and there's no guarantee of an extension. Plus, if that player goes there, works out real well, plays, has a great year, then you're paying him even more of a premium. So I don't think that players in that situation yield the type of return that social media would have you believe. Sometimes the trade conversation, trade this guy for a Hall. Hall is not reality a lot of times. So I look at it, and look, I don't know what Travis is going to be over the next bunch of years in his career. Here's what I know about Brad Marchand. He won a cup in his rookie year back in the 2010, not his rookie year, excuse me. His first year in the playoffs was 2010-11. He wins the cup that year. His first year in the NHL was actually 2009-10 when they lost to the Flyers. But you look at it, Marchand's had good playoff numbers. He's a player that, since he was 27 years of age, I mean, he's had unbelievable offensive output and great seasons. When I look at Marchand, if I look at him after, so 2015-16, he is 27 years of age. He had 61 points. The next year he comes back at 28 years of age. He's got an 85-point season. Then he's got another 85-point season in 68 games, a 100-point season in 79 games, in 87, 69, 80, 67, and 67. He's played 575 games since turning 28, and he's got 640 points. Now, you also have to look at who he was playing with. Now, Bergeron was there, but when they bring Pasternak into the equation, they bring some of those other pieces in, his game also goes to a next level. So where's Konecny going to go from here? I don't know. I don't. But to me, he's a player, unless I'm bowled over, I'm not looking to trade. I'm looking to extend, and I'm looking for a discount, frankly. I am looking for a bit of a hometown discount to stay here. And as a GM, I'm not afraid to ask that. Now he is a right winger. If Matvei Michkov comes over, does that affect it? Bill and I talked about, does that affect your plan for Konecny in any way, shape, or form? I don't know that it does. Look, I'd like to have two good, really good, play-driving, offensively talented, can create goals on their own right wingers on my top two lines. Absolutely. I think that would make both players better. But we'll see where this Michkov thing goes, but We'll see where the Konecny thing goes this summer as well. I think he's an important player for this team, and I think he's part of that youngish core and leadership group as well. Does wear a letter on his jersey, along with Sean Couturier, who's north of 30, and Scott Lawton, who's 29. By the way, Scott Lawton will be 30, I think, coming up in 8 days. So happy early birthday to Sarge, who also, I saw a video come out yesterday of his King Clancy finalist award nomination. So best of luck to Lots on that as well. All right, everybody, that's another edition of Flyers Daily. Well, Friday, who are we going to have Friday? We had Konecny in this episode. Friday, we've got a guy that I don't think John Tortorella ever had to tell him to be who he is. Garnet Hathaway. Really smart, intelligent guy out of Brown University. We'll talk to Garnet Hathaway on Friday's episode. We'll monitor the Matvei Michkov situation as well. So join us then on a brand new Flyers Daily.